Tonight, Whyalla to phase out coal-based steel making by 2025, reducing carbon emissions by a staggering 90%. And getting a GP appointment in Broken Hill is about to become a whole lot easier after local businesses banded together to secure a spot for a clinic.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with Madeline Kerr begins now.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. The Premier is doing the rounds of the Spencer Golf, attending a major Steelworks announcement in Whyalla this morning. Peter Malinauskas backing GFG Alliance's plans to install an electrical arc furnace that will cut carbon emissions by 90%.
GFG Alliance, the Premier, and even AFL royalty in the form of Port Augusta's Hannah Ewings and Ryan Burton attended the formal ceremony at the Steelworks, where Liberty Primary Steel signed an agreement with Italian company Danieli to build a low-carbon electric arc furnace, phasing out coal-based steelmaking. The Premier saying it's one of the biggest developments in the city's history.
GFG realises all its ambitions to produce green iron at a dramatic scaling up, including the DRI plants. We're going to need a lot more workers, which means we need a lot more houses, which means we need a lot more restaurants, a lot more cafes, more retail. Everything builds from there in this local economy.
Thousands of jobs are expected to be created during construction and operation of the project, which is worth $485 million.
We'll have a combination. Overall jobs we expect to be about 4,000 from 3,000. That includes the mining works, the steel works, all of Whyalla's workforce. We expect it to expand to 4,000, but that will mean a lot of retraining of our existing workforce as well.
Today's announcement marks a sharp reduction in direct CO2 emissions by the Steelworks by over 90% by 2025. That's in line with the federal government's safeguard mechanism.
They're thinking ahead about what they can do around green steel. We've moved into place 2 big pieces of legislation in the last week that is very supportive of this through the National Reconstruction Fund.
Liberty says it's committed to long-term involvement in Whyalla, with green hydrogen the way of the future.
Around about 9% of all of global carbon emissions comes from steel production. Here in South Australia, we can dramatically reduce that by producing green iron and green steel at a price cheaper than anywhere else in the rest of the world because of access to hydrogen at an affordable price.
Construction is scheduled to begin later this year. Daniel Pizarro, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Following the brutal attack of a teenage girl last month, the Mayor of Port Lincoln has met with police and the local MP to address the disturbing daylight incident. Alison Hall has more.
On the 23rd of March, a video circulated on social media of a vicious attack in Tolma Lane, near the town's youth hub, leaving a girl with injuries to her face and hands.
As a result, we've arrested 3 people, a 14-year-old, a 16-year-old and an 18-year-old, and they've all been charged with aggravated affray.
They'll be appearing in the youth court and the magistrates court at a later date. The superintendent saying this is an isolated incident in Port Lincoln.
We do get assaults from time to time, but thankfully this is very much isolated.
Member for Flinders Sam Telfer is calling for more resources in the regions as antisocial behaviour increases.
And this is why I've written to Minister Joe Sockhart, really imploring him to put together a understanding of where policing is at the Eyre Peninsula and making sure that the resourcing for police on the Eyre Peninsula is actually reflective of the need.
He suggests an investment in robust education and intervention programs for young people.
The assault numbers that I've seen from the SAPOL stats in January, the thefts, the break-ins, these events are starting to build up and the community are starting to voice their concern.
Port Lincoln officials are taking the matter seriously, with council members meeting with community leaders this week to understand what further measures need to be put in place.
At the top of our list should always be making sure that those who are offenders are held accountable, and secondly, making sure that our communities are safe.
Alison Hall, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Still to come on tonight's bulletin, bike tracks, basketball court and upgraded amenities coming to a Port Pirie park. And getting glamorous for one night only. Broken Hill's newest laneway extravaganza, part of Heritage Festival. Welcome back. Parks play an important role in Spencer Gulf communities. They're where families host birthday parties, charity events and weekend catch-ups. And now, two iconic Port Pirie Council parks are changing for the better.
Goodbye old colourful playground, hello nature playground. Upgrades to Woodwood Park have been in discussion since last year. And now progress is underway and the community couldn't be happier. At their last meeting, Council allocated additional funds towards the revamp.
That beautiful little kitchen in the middle of Woodwood Park that most people hire for small birthday parties and whatnot, Council has allocated up to $100,000 to renovate that, put in a nice sealed floor and actually a nice high pressure hose cleaner into a drain.
With works well and truly underway at Woodwood Park, Council is now focusing on the Bowman Park Master Plan.
A year or so ago we actually consulted with the Friends of Bowman Park and just talked about what should we look to do to go forward.
Some exciting ideas that came forward include camping and glamping facilities. Last week, Council hosted an information session to hear the community's thoughts.
There's always something else that we want, but what we'd recognise there, if we enhance this park to that level, we need to look at a few things. We probably need lighting, we need the park pathways to be better conditioned. We also need disability access.
A draft master plan is available on Council's Facebook page. Annabella Francis, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The Silver City is no stranger to getting dressed up for a night out, with events like Broken Hill recording high volumes of attendees. And now the time has finally come for the city's newest art and music show, Glam Fest in Gawler Lane.
After months of planning, organisers are putting the finishing touches on Saturday night's show, which will see Gawler Lane come alive.
Oh, look, we're counting down the days. It's sort of getting to that point, though, where you're actually seeing that there might be life after the festival, But no, it's great. It's very exciting.
West Darling Arts Project Officer Jo Crace has been the driving force behind the one-night-only festivities.
She's really doing most of the work for it all, like all of the organising and the logistics and, everything pretty much.
Talking with some of the artists in the lead-up, organisers say they're buzzing to see the laneway live up to its full potential.
Some, I think, are completely organised and ready to go. Others are still sort of polishing up the sort of last details, that kind of thing. But no, I think they're all excited and looking forward to it.
The event will kick off at 5 p.m, with official proceedings getting underway at 5:15 and the music kicking off after that.
But of course, a lot of the stuff is lights and light projection, so we need it to be dark for that. But they'll come on as it gets darker, and now that daylight savings ended, it's going to be happening, sooner than it did before, of course.
Joshua Mercer, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us after the break. An economic game changer and job creator for Fisherman Bay. And after a decade of giving back, how Port Lincoln's Book Bazaar charity shop is marking its 10th birthday celebration. Welcome back. As many of us are aware, Fisherman Bay has been a construction site for quite some time now. But recent figures are making it all worthwhile, with property settlements in the area totalling almost $27 million.
Owning land has never felt so good. The final major freeholding stage delivered last month has exceeded expectations.
It sure has. $27 million worth of sales. So land has been now freehold. That money has been reinvested in infrastructure works.
With views like this, it's no surprise residents jumped at the opportunity to acquire freehold title of their property, providing them with the confidence to upgrade and develop their buildings.
There's about 5 or 6 homes being rebuilt down there at the moment. So we're actually seeing more development applications come through for houses in Fisherman Bay. People have been waiting 20, 30 years to be able to invest in homes down at Fisherman Bay instead of shacks.
This project hasn't only been beneficial for residents of Fisherman Bay.
That money, as private sector money, has created around 230 jobs for our economy and $25 million of economic benefits. It's just a game changer for the region.
If you take a look around Fisherman Bay, you'll also see works are underway at the boat ramp. This facility is scheduled to reopen in May. Annabelle Francis, 7 Spencer Golf News.
There was a special birthday celebration in Port Lincoln today. The Book Bazaar, a second-hand store that raises money for a good cause, turned 10.
The Eyre Peninsula Community Foundation Board and Book Bazaar volunteers taking the time to celebrate their achievements.
We would love to have more community members coming in, join us for the celebration. There are bits of cake here available. Give away books and chocolates for people who purchase something.
Established in 2013, the Book Bazaar is a vital fundraising arm for multiple causes.
The Book Bazaar raises funds, and the profits from the Book Bazaar each year are split equally between the Home Hospice Service and the other community foundation activities.
It's important because we know that it goes to support out of hours palliative care.
But that's not the only reason volunteers get involved.
It's a wonderful feeling, but also we just get a lot of enjoyment out of the different customers who come in, like young families and then older people, and we have our regulars.
All donated books are processed and cleaned by volunteers, then put on a shelf to await their new home.
We have such an amazing group of volunteers in this shop. A lot of them have been here for years, some right from the start. Really, it would not be the success it is without them, and we're so grateful for the fact that they keep coming back every week to do their bit to help out.
The team of over 30 volunteers can't wait to see you.
Come in and join in the celebrations and share the benefits of this wonderful community operation.
And if you don't want to come in for cake, let the team recommend you a book.
One of the ones that's in here at the moment that we're particularly impressed with is this one on the history of Gawler from 1837 to 1908.
Celebrations wrap up on Thursday. Alison Hall, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us. Coming up on the other side of the ad break, our weekly sports wrap segment featuring local softball, basketball and netball. And Ruby Cairns joins us in the studio for your local weather forecast. Welcome back. The start of April saw the end of basketball in Port Augusta, while softball is done and dusted for another season in Port Pirie. Let's get into it. It was a busy weekend for Port Augusta basketball following their massive season. The grand finals, nothing short of spectacular. In the men's A grade, the grand final was between the Titans and the Eagles. At full time, it was the Titans who emerged on top, clutching victory from the jaws of defeat by 2 points. In the A-grade women's, Spartans took on Spartans Grey, the former having the stronger side, winning the grand final 56-44. In the men's B-grade, South Red were victorious over South White, winning by 7 points. In the women's B-grade, Falcons Black were flying high after defeating Spartans Maroon 31-23. Round 7 of Broken Hill Netball is underway tonight, but round 6 in the A grade had Black Diamonds taking on West Flame Robins, the latter going down in flames and losing by 9 points. The West Flames Black suffered a similar fate, losing to the Jesters by 24 points. Westside had the bye. In B grade, Elites lived up to their name, burning West Flames Red by 10 points. The Divas are high and mighty following their narrow 3-point victory over CF Wags. And while the Thunderballs were winning their game against the Gold Diggers, The former has been sensationally disqualified. Finally, in softball, the women's grand final saw the Cougars rip apart checkmates 10-5, with Cougars and Russick named as MVP. That's this week's Sports Wrap. Get in touch via our Facebook page if you would like to see your team's results. And just a reminder that local footy is back in under 2 weeks. But it's time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather with Ruby Cairns. Ruby, there's been quite a big difference between our high temps and our low temps.
There has been, Maddie. For example, Cummins recorded 9.8 degrees just before 6:30 this morning, but warmed up to an impressive 31 degrees by mid-afternoon. That's a difference of more than 20 degrees. We also saw similar increases in Snowtown, Woodna and Ceduna. Elsewhere, Port Augusta reached a top of 31 degrees today. The sun came out in Whyalla as well, 29 degrees. Perfect timing for a visit by the Premier. Port Lincoln recorded 28 degrees with partly cloudy conditions. Looking more broadly at today's weather map now, 31 degrees for Woodna today, warmer than Coober Pedi's high of 32. Broken Hill topped 28, as did Adelaide. Let's take a look at the satellite image now. Cloud is covering the western and central areas, and a weak trough is bringing the odd shower along the south coast. Dry and clear elsewhere under high pressure and a dry air mass. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. Easterly winds 10 to 15 knots, turning northeasterly early in the morning, seas below a metre. South to southwesterly swell below a metre as well. Looking at tomorrow's temperatures now, a shower or two and 27 degrees in Port Lincoln. Partly cloudy, a top of 29 in both Cleve and Woodna. 29 for Whyalla tomorrow as well, down to 15 degrees overnight, and a few degrees warmer further north in Port Augusta, partly cloudy and a top of 31, a high of 29 on the way for Kadina. 31 degrees in Port Pirie for Wednesday, mostly sunny, 28 for Clare, mostly sunny conditions in Broken Hill as well, down to 11 degrees tonight and 30 tomorrow. Taking a look further through the week now, and starting with Thursday's outlook, rainy across the majority of our map. Showers and 25 for Port Lincoln and Adelaide, 28 for Woodna, Whyalla and Port Pirie. 30 degrees and showers are on the way for Port Augusta and Broken Hill. Turning to the outlook for Good Friday now, drizzly conditions in Port Lincoln, Woodna and Kadina. Hopefully the rain doesn't deter anyone from headed out and picking up some delicious Eyre Peninsula prawns. Partly cloudy, 25 for Whyalla and Broken Hill, rainy, top of 24 degrees in Port Pirie. And finally, let's take a quick look at how Saturday's shaping up. The Bureau says temperatures are likely to be well below the average for the Easter long weekend, with rain forecast across much of the nation. Possible showers across most of the region, 21 in Whyalla, Kadina and Port Pirie, 23 for Port Augusta and Broken Hill. And that's all the weather from me tonight. I'll see you a little later with an update. It's back to you, Maddie.
Thanks for that, Ruby. And that's the local news this Tuesday. I'm Madeline Kerr. From all of us here, thanks for joining us. I'll have updates a little later, but until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.